Okay, as you can see, I have got the kit laid out here. We've got hot side intercooler stuff, and these are all the pipes that will be going from the turbo to the intercooler and back to the intake. As you can see, we've got some custom bent and they're TIG welded aluminum pipes. We've got a whole bunch of T-bar clamps. Got some brackets that came in the kit. Some hardware, some bolts. Got some elbows, 45s here. We've got the elbows. Some adapter pipes. And of course, this big intercooler, which I can tell already it's definitely a little bit taller and it's a little bit thicker than the original. So I guess we will have to go over to the front of the Jeep and start taking the front end off so we can get down to the basics here and just pull it out. Destruction time. No, we don't want to destroy anything. We just want to take it apart. So I'll see you all at the front of the truck. Alright, I got you set up. You're going to have to excuse the background noise. It's cold outside and it's kind of cold in here, so we got to have some heat going so that we can stay warm and work without mittens on. So we're going to get in here, we're going to start taking, we'll have to take this whole front end off. We're going to take engine cover, all these hoses, all these lines will have to come out. I'm taking clips out around for the bumper cover here and then for the closeout panel on the passenger side, because we're going to have to move this bottle, the expansion tank, so that we can get to the pipe underneath it a little easier, maybe. But since I've got the tool in hand, I'll just pull the plugs out. You know, they make these tools, you can get them in plastic, you can get them in metal. Just about anybody that makes a lot of tools for automotive has these. And I have a bunch of those. And yet the one that I made myself out of a cheap screwdriver set nail puller seems to work the best. Whichever one you like, that's what you use, but that's what I'm using. Going to be a 10mm bolt up here. Yeah. So down below here we've got a bunch of these little turn things here. Alright, I got rid of some of that background noise. It should be stopping here in just a moment, but let's see if we can get you zoomed in here a little better. Getting ready to pop some of the stuff off here. Try to get this foam impact guard out of here. plugs on these things are really long. And the only thing you got to pry on is foam, so it is what it is. But we have to get this foam out of the way so we can get to these plastic shields here. Those have to come out. Horns we're going to take off. Just because it makes it easier with some of this wiring harness that's in here. Horns out of the way. Wire to the hood latch. The wire harness here, the holders for the wire harness also hold these plastic things in. There we've got latch release. I'm just going to snap that in behind. This here is just the outdoor temperature. There we go. Twist this a little bit, get this wire harness out of the way. We'll get these supports out of the way. Get this one down. Oh, we got this one down out of the way. That'll help a little bit. Twist that one out. Twist this one out. There's the intercooler. Now we'll have to get to the bolts that are holding this on, or the hose clamps on this side. And there's one on this side, and we'll be able to work on tilting this out. I'm loosening up the hose clamp on the pipe on this side here. This in kind of an awkward spot underneath. You could probably make a bunch more room here if you pulled the headlight out, maybe, but I don't think it's necessary. Okay, that one's out of the way. Let's get the other one. On the new intercooler, the clamps are in different positions here, so it should be a little easier. At least I hope so. There we are. Use a hose hook here and make sure that it's all broke loose. Now up on top here we have, they're snapped into the radiator on top here. Screwdriver here. Just like that. There's some little tabs up here. You stick the screwdriver in, a little twist and a pry, it pops right out. There's one. The intercooler is off. Kind of oily. As a side-by-side comparison, you can see it's a pinch shorter, but look how much wider it is. see it's slightly thicker. Okay, we're going to get started here putting some brackets in. There's 2 holes that are existing here that, according to the website, we have to reuse, but we're going to have to drill them out. That's where this bracket here goes. The kit only came with a couple of extra washers, so I grabbed some out of the bolt bin. And this is going to get hooked up or bolted up underneath here. If I put it in right, anyway. Okay. Gravity is not our friend today. So that's one. None of these I'm going to tighten up until we're all fitted here, because I'm sure we're going to have to make some adjustments back and forth here a little bit. Okay. The upper bracket is on. Can't really see it. It tucks up underneath here pretty easy. Pretty nice. The next one, as you can see, I got you looking down here. We're going to have to take these braces out because there's a bracket that goes behind them. These are the hood support, or the hood latch supports. We'll just set those aside for now. The bracket that has to go in there are these angle brackets. They attach like this through that. That support. So these will be this. I'm not going to tighten these up, I'm just going to snug it so I can hold stuff in place here while I move it around. I may have to move this bracket up and down, so. There we go, try this one now. This goes through here. This goes through here. Oh. Okay, now I've got these brackets. These are going to get mounted on the bottom. Then I'm just putting them in finger tight. supposed to fit in here now, like this, somehow. And we're going to go on these top brackets here. Now I'm bolting the two supplied brackets in with supplied bolts. Like I said earlier in the video, you're going to want a handful of 1/4-inch washers. The brackets are slotted, so having some decent washers on there just, in my opinion, makes it fasten better. What it looks like now, it's only kind of finger tight. I have the upper bracket pretty much shoved back. I'm just snugging these up now so that everything is kind of held in place. These are 14s. Just getting stuff lined up. This one here I've got to pull out and turn the bracket around, or the brace I should say. They have holes in them. It should face backwards. Well, the intercooler is basically mounted. Let me take these. Now we can start putting the piping in. Okay, now we're back under the hood. We are going to pull all these piping out. Alright. I loosened up some clamps here. Unfortunately, that heater is almost right above us, so I can't do much about the noise. So we got this one all out now. We'll start grabbing this new stuff to put in. I forgot to turn the camera on. I got one of these pipes dropped into place and secured, kind of. It'll fit in there. Now the kit I got came with all the black hoses or fittings. They offer them in blue also, and I think maybe in red. I just didn't want to be that flashy, so I just got black ones. Now this kit, they do not send you any directions. They have some pictures on the internet, but it's not real decisive where everything goes. So it's a bit of a guessing game. It's a puzzle. So hopefully you came across this if you're doing the kit, and you'll be able to watch ahead of time, because I've got to figure it out. Appears you have to reuse the turbo side adapter here, which involves taking this all apart. And look at that, there's a hose clamp hidden under there. Getting it on there might be a trick. This pipe here, this has to go on there. I feel like they probably want you to cut it because it gets a little bit bigger just past this, but I don't want to cut it and then it be too short. So I'll struggle with this a little bit and I'll bring you back. Okay, so right after I turn the camera off, you grab the tool and it slid right on. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of tension on one of these brackets here, or clamps, just so it doesn't spin on me. I took the intake muffler out of the bracket here. I feel like this is going to have to sit in here, kind of, somewhat. This piece is going to have to go in here. They give you a ton of different hose clamps, or band clamps here too. And they don't tell you what, they don't have a size on them, so you kind of got to guess a little bit on where they go, I think. Don't know that I like these T clamps sticking out like this, but there ain't much I can do about that. I'm not going to go through and cut them all off, even though I probably could cut a bunch of these off. They have a different sort of bracket here to hold this up. Here's. Alright, now we're getting ready to put the cold side, or the, from the cooler to the engine. They don't fit very well. And I don't think it's a pieces problem, it's a problem with where I put my, well, now I can get out either. Okay, problem where I put my catch can. May have to move that. Let's see what's. Take this air cleaner out. Air cleaner box. Need to make some room. get my hands and stuff in there. And I may have to relocate my catch can. I had the catch can mounted off of the air cleaner box in a nice convenient spot where it was out of the way, but unfortunately I think now I may have to relocate it. Okay. See if I can get this stuff to fit in here now. So that looks like, well, I guess that's the way it goes. That's got to be rotated up a little bit. Okay, I'm not sure here on attaching to the engine. I know this side you have to reuse the turbo mount. I'm not saying this is poorly engineered, but I think they could have done a little bit better job with the piping on this side so that I didn't have to have it resting on brake lines, which is not, in my opinion, isn't good. I just took a piece of wood and I bent that brake line. No kinks in it, so that's good. But I bent the brake line. When you are doing this, you'll see it. The brake line comes out and it goes kind of down at an angle. I've got it going in a loop like this. Now it's clearing. I like that a little better. Now that brake line is coated there, which is a good thing, but I'm afraid it's going to rattle. So in my opinion, put a piece of loom, or I've got a piece of vacuum hose I'm going to put on over it, just as a layer of protection. Putting these clamps in is very difficult. I have this washer bottle loose. I went to put the washer bottle in and it hits the clamp, so now I got to try to weasel this clamp back out of here. Or rotate it and try to get back on it here. I'm not saying you got to have small hands, but I'm going to say it probably would help. Using a small short handle ratchet here is working pretty good here. Of course, when we're all done here, we will go through and double check all of our fittings, all of our clamps, make sure everything's pointed where it's supposed to be, not rubbing against stuff, and make sure all the clamps are tight. Because you don't want to go through all this work, having the front end off, and then have to take it apart to put a clamp back together. That blew off. Oh, because you didn't have it tight enough. Especially these ones here behind the grill or behind the bumper cover. Now this kit comes with a clamp for this hot side. It goes in place of where the original intake muffler was. The hole that they give, that I think they want you to use, is the original one on the driver's side. I threaded the hole next to it and put my clamp there, and I used a hose clamp to secure it, and I was able to move it around and pull this way a little bit, pull that way, to make sure I've got everything lined up and not rubbing on stuff. Okay, I've got it all connected up. I just went through and did a little bit of twisting and pulling and moving and rotating here a little bit to get everything kind of lined up where it's supposed to kind of lay. All the hoses are in. I had to relocate my catch can because it's sat too low. I think as a kit, it isn't too bad. I mean, you get what you pay for, and this one's a little cheaper than the other kit. I will say I didn't like how the connection was up here. I modified it to put a bracket to keep this all together, because I'm afraid that some boost will blow this off up here. I don't know if that's true or not. But I got just a lock tab I tacked up in there. I'll give you guys a close-up here. So I took this and I tacked it onto this band clamp, put a bolt in there, that way this can't blow off, or it's less likely to blow off. Fit and finish, it is what it is. It fits. There's my catch can. Here's that bracket. This is a factory hole right here. I use this hole with a different bolt. Looks okay. Doesn't sit and rub on anything. It comes through there and goes back through there. I just got to tighten up a couple of bolts there and corresponding bolts on the intercooler, and I can put this front end back on. Okay, as you can see, behind me there's a little change of scenery. So I was in the middle of editing this video. Well, actually, when I first got started, I couldn't find the intro. I don't know what happened to the intro, if I didn't record it, or if it just got lost in process or what. But it was missing, so I did that, little wording thing, something a little different. I hope you liked it. And then I did the whole installation. I went through and edited it, and I went to the outro, and the outro had no sound. I don't know if I forgot to turn the microphone on, or if the battery was dead in the microphone, which, stuff happens. Either way, I didn't see that there was no sound recording, so now I'm making up a new one from the future, and now I can give you a little bit of feedback on the kit itself. The installation was pretty easy. The kit does as it's described. I've noticed a little bit better throttle response or boost response, and other than that, I've had a couple of clamps that I've had to tighten up, and one that I had to replace that the nut stripped out on it. Other than that, it's been fantastic, and I definitely would recommend it if you have one of these. And I want to thank you for stopping in and watching the video and sticking around to this ending, so that you can get my feedback. But I'm getting ready to hop in it and go, so I'm going to say thank you for watching, and remember, build it bigger, better, faster, but just build it. Thanks for watching. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe.